Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. Don't run, don't hide, don't be shy. Just like, comment, and please subscribe.
I mean, dealing with the stress, I mean, dealing with the pain. Trying to find a way.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Tdwrld. I'm your host, TD, and this week we're going to be tackling a couple of different things. I know that last week I said that we were going to be getting into NFL preseason week 3, but, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this last week was pretty lackluster. I am going to be talking about 2 games in particular because I do have thoughts. Not necessarily on the games, but on the quarterbacks. So we are going to dive into that instead for our NFL preseason. But don't worry, guys. We are going to pick right back up with it with the actual season when it starts. And also, I want to try and do a little bit of some live streaming. You know what I'm saying? I want to tap in. I want to be able to, talk to you guys. You guys talk to me. We can be interactive. It ain't got to just be just me talking into, an echo chamber. But before we get into that, I do want to also dive into, a couple of ideas for you fellas that ain't got too much change in your pockets, but you need to find a place to take your lady. Don't worry, I got a couple of tips for you. I got 5 places that I want you to be able to take that girl so that you'll be able to go out and have a good time without spending too much bread. But I'm also going to talk a little bit more about One Piece because, I got a couple more thoughts. I got some thoughts on season 2. I got some thoughts on season 3 and some things I think that we're going to be seeing. So, you guys strap in. Get ready. You guys already know the drill at this point, so let's go. Okay, so the 5 places that you're gonna want to go if you're on a budget, but you're on a first date type situation and you got to find a place that's gonna be able to somewhat wow her or at least be able to get a vibe. Because the reality is this: if you on a budget, you're not gonna be able to wow her in terms of the scale of the place or how expensive or how gourmet the food is. So you got to be more creative. You got to get a vibe going. And you got to get something going to where when she leaves, she can feel like, man, that was really, really romantic. I feel really special. I would like to do something like that again. She needs to feel like she's going on an adventure. So let me give you 5 different places for you to go so that way you not looking stuck and you ain't got to spend too many bucks. Okay, so going in order from number 1 to 5, this is going from the least amount of money you got to spend to the most amount of money you got to spend. So obviously, like I say, start from the bottom, work your way up. You know what I mean? Start from the bottom, work your way up. So number 1, I got getting ice cream, or if it's if it's cold outside, go and get some hot chocolate. That is something that is very, very simple. It's very, very innocent. It's cute. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there, it's a hot summer day. You say, hey, I was thinking about you. I was just thought maybe we should go get some ice cream, chop it up for a little bit. Go get whatever it is that she like, get whatever you like. You guys just sit there and just talk, whether that be outside, whether that be in the parlor, whatever it is that you guys are at. But it's something that doesn't cost too much money, but it allows you guys to kind of loosen up because you're both enjoying a nice treat. As long as you have some decent conversation skills, which you should have picked up in the ingredients to have in game. Check my channel. But you have your conversation skills, you'll be able to keep things going back and forth, and it's not going to be too difficult for you once you're able to get her kind of guard down so that way she's not feeling so tense. Because obviously if it's somebody that either you know or somebody even that you don't know, and you're trying to get to know, it just kind of makes it so that way you're not having to put on too much of a facade and it's a lot more lax. So number 2 on the list is go get a coffee and then take a walk. This is something that I think is massively underrated because there's something really, I don't know if the word is elegant or I guess not sophisticated, but it's simple, but it takes a certain level of sophistication to be able to just go out, get a coffee, and have an honest to goodness conversation to where you're able to kind of tap into each other's mental state, tap into each other's minds and see where you guys are at, and be able to keep that banter going. And then what I would do is instead of just getting coffee and just sitting at the shop, I would advise getting the coffee and go to like a forest preserve or go to like a nature trail or something like that where you guys can walk, enjoy your coffee. If she's got a dog, you got a dog, that makes it even easier because you guys can talk over, whatever it is you're talking over. And then whenever things get a little bit awkward, you always got the dogs to be able to lean on. So that's always another really, really, low key, not too expensive date that obviously takes more steps because maybe you got to get a car if you get the dogs or whatever the case may be. So it might take a little bit more money, but at the end of the day, it's not that expensive, and it'll definitely be able to get a vibe going. Numero trio is you need to take her into your world. A lot of you guys, you do fun things already. You go to the bar on the weekend with your friends. You have a game night situation with your family or whatever the case may be. You have, well, maybe not if it's with your family. If it's with your friends and whatnot, you do it with your friends, but it's a little bit too soon to be giving her the family if it's the first date. But, you know, you got some sort of routine that is fun, that is very easy for somebody to I guess I should say, invite into, so that way they can be able to have fun. It just also makes it a lot easier, and it makes you seem a lot less desperate for her time when you already have plans and something that it is that you're doing. You just happening to ask her if she wants to tag along. It's a good look. It helps you with feeling more confident also, because it's a place that you're very, very familiar with, and also she'll be leaning a lot more on you to feel more comfortable because you're bringing her into your world. So again, it shouldn't cost you that much money because it's something that you do on a regular. The only reason I put it at 3 is because it depends on what it is. Like, maybe you like to go to car shows on the weekend, or maybe you like to go drag racing or paintballing or something like that. Whatever it is that you do, try to have her step into your world, and then, you know, try to have that be something to where you can, you know, work from there, and obviously it's not gonna cost you too much money, but you can be able to get the fireworks going, you know what I'm saying? Number 4, you want to take her someplace competitive. So that means that you need to go mini golfing, an arcade. Hey, if you know that she's athletic, invite her to the gym. Say, hey, I'm gonna go hoop with my friends, or I was gonna go to the gym, you know, shoot a couple shots. I was thinking maybe you can come with me, or whatever the case may be. Something that's competitive to where you can get that friendly banter going back and forth, because obviously that competition and that banter is able to build up tension, and obviously with tension comes, you know what I'm saying? So try to be able to utilize competition to your advantage. Obviously, don't be weird about it. Don't be trying to slam dunk on her. Don't be trying to do all kind of, you know what I'm saying, craziness, but use the competition to your advantage. Be playful, you know what I'm saying? Show your leadership skills, show your masculinity, and be able to be that guy that it is that she's gonna want to be with. Reason I got this at number 4 is just because, again, it just depends on where it is that you go. It could get a little bit more expensive. It shouldn't be that crazy. Again, all of these things are relatively affordable. It's not like you got to be working in corporate finance in order for you to be able to do any of these things. You could do all of these things working at McDonald's, so you should be straight. But again, it just really depends on what it is you try to do. And the number 5 place you should go to, this is the last resort if you know that you're on a budget, but you got to find a way to wow her. Go down to whatever your major city is, or I guess the closest thing to it that has the most attractions, fun, things to do, restaurants to try. Go to that place. Pick a spot that's new. Make sure it's a spot that she's going to like. So don't ask her where she want to go. Just ask her what she like. Pick a spot that is in the realm of what it is that she like. Make sure that you do your homework. Make sure it's a good spot. Go down to the city. Go down to the spot that it is. It doesn't have to be a crazy fancy restaurant. It's just got to be with today's social media age where every food recipe is viral and whatever. All you got to do is take her to the restaurant, show her the video or whatever the case may be. And if she says, that's the spot you need to go to. Take her to that spot. Shouldn't be no place crazy. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more pricey because you're inside of a city and you know what I'm saying? They be racking it up. But ultimately, city night? Just had some food. Now you just go on a walk, little DJ Steve, walking down the block, having a little bit of some friendly conversation, talking about how nice the meal was. You see the city lights, it's a vibe. Listen, the city usually, unless she's like a real, you know what I'm saying, nature lover, which you could probably get away with number 1 or 2 if that's the case. But if she's like, unless she's like a real nature lover where she don't really mess with the city and all that busyness and whatnot, that usually works. And I put that at number 5 because ain't nothing cheap about the city. But again, it's still relatively affordable that if you swing it a certain way, you can pull it off. Obviously, if you can afford number 5, I would just say jump straight to number 5 because it's really easy. It doesn't take too much effort in terms of planning. And it's so many different combinations. You don't have to repeat spots. Don't go to the same spot every time with every chick. You know what I'm saying? Like, switch it up. Go to different places. Try new things, fellas. But those are the 5 places that I think that you need to be if you want a budget and you want to go on a date. all of these places will work. Is really at that point going to come down to your conversation skills and you being able to swing it in a way that's going to work towards your favor. If you need any sort of tips in terms of being able to work on your game and how it is that might be able to help you land more action, in a sense, you should go ahead and check my channel. Matter of fact, check the link in the description. I'll just drop it in the description for you fellas, because I know that y'all want this game, so I'm gonna give you this game. But that's it for this week. We're gonna jump into the next segment. I'll catch you guys next time. Look, I'm still a believer. It's going to take more than a bad game of the Chiefs for me to jump ship. But this wasn't it. This was not it, Caleb Williams. Listen, bro. I know. First of all, let's go back. Let's go back. So last week, if you guys remember, Chicago smacked out of the Bills. It was such a spanking that the Chicago Bears were trending for days. All of the haters of Caleb Williams were silenced unanimously. Not because he played the whole game and he himself put up the 38 to the Bills 0. But because what he did during that time of the 38-0, Caleb looked phenomenal. He was going through his progressions quickly. He was decisive. And the man just was fluid, throwing laser beams across the field. But now, I guess he just thought because he had a good game last week, he could just shit around. And then he's laughing about it. Like he's chuckling about it. And it irritates me because to me, what it comes across as is that Caleb's not taking it as seriously as he needs to. And what I mean by that is not that he's not taking it seriously in terms of his job as a quarterback. I do believe that Caleb is doing the work to improve as a quarterback, as a leader. I do believe that he's doing what he needs to do in order to progress and be as efficient as possible in Ben Johnson's offense. But what Caleb is not taking seriously is, I think, his presence as a quarterback. There's a certain instinct, a certain killer instinct as a quarterback you need to have that says, I'm not here to play around. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's a regular season game. I don't care if it's practice. I'm here to win. Which means that all of my decision making, every single play that I'm doing is in the greater scheme of winning. That means that Caleb, bro, you got to get your shit together when it comes to these progressions. You have all of the tangibles. The intangibles is what we're working on. Progressions, character, things of that nature. Progressions is mostly important. Character, I'm not all that concerned with, but you have all the physical attributes you need. You got an amazing arm. Pause. You got escapability with leg power, and you clearly can take a beating because you were the most sacked quarterback last year and you played every single game. You didn't sit out not one snap. And that's respect. That's some tough shit right there. But you will not last long if you are playing this hero ball where you are running around, not taking what it is that the defense gives you so that way you can be able to keep the play and the drive alive. Had you made that play on that, I believe it was the first drive where they were back like 20 yards. Had you made that play for 4 yards to one of the receivers sitting right in front of you or your tight end, then when you made that 16-yard pass to DJ, I believe that was DJ, or maybe that was Zacchaeus. Regardless, when you made that 16-yard pass, you would have actually had the first down. But because you were trying to out Mahomes, you wasted a drive after it was already backed up because of pre-snap penalties and a fumble, which are all the things that I'm sure that Ben Johnson is alluding to. So we got to get better, bro. We have got to get better, because the reality is that, Caleb, we're counting on you. We believe in you, but also we don't have a choice. We also don't have a choice because they put all the pieces around you. They put an O-line around you. We don't have the best running back, but DeAndre Swift, he was working in that game. I give the man his props. I'm still concerned about DeAndre, but I'd be lying if I said that I was not impressed by what he did with the Chiefs. But you got an O-line. You got receivers everywhere. Everywhere. You got nothing but targets. You have a fairly decent defense, which concerns there, because the Chiefs made it look like we was easy. At least the starters did. So that had me concerned, which I'm sure they will address. And I'm not, worried in terms of our defense. I know that we'll get that together. However, we're not going to be just dependent on the defense to be staying and saving the offense's ass. We're expecting production on the offensive line of the ball. And that really is all going to be being an extension of what it is, Caleb, you are doing throughout this game and throughout the season. Now, again, let me reiterate. I do have faith that Caleb will be able to get his mind right, operate in the offense the way he's supposed to, and get the Bears to where it is that they need to get to. However, I also want to be very clear, I'm not delusional. I can see that there's still hints of old Caleb that are starting to poke their head even now in the preseason. So, let's give them a chance. This game against the Vikings is going to tell a lot. It's not going to tell us everything, but it's going to tell us a lot, because we'll get to see him through a full game. We'll see him through the 2-minute drive. I mean, yes, the 2-minute drive was impressive with the Chiefs, but again, backups. Had he done that with the ones, I would have felt much better about that. But because it took the backups, it just takes the wind out of those points, to me. Maybe not to someone else, but it does to me. So, again, I'm very, very much so confident that the Bears are going to be a serious problem and a serious contender in the NFC North and the NFC and NFL in general. But little mistakes like this will cost us games, and they will cost us yardage in very, very big moments. So let's get that together. Sheduer. Don't get it twisted. I am well aware that you did not get the opportunity that you were supposed to get. It was not fair. It's not favorable. There's nothing about this to where you can look at it and say, with the exception of the fact that you're in the NFL at all, but there's nothing about this where you can look at this and say they are trying to at least give me a fair shot. However, you do have to learn to play with the cards that you got. It don't matter how bad the hand that is that you got. In life, you don't get a reshuffle. Very, very rarely do you get a reshuffle. In life, all you got is play. There's no takesies, backsies, there's no rewind, there's no fast forward, it's just play. Which means that if you are given cards like this where you have a terrible O-line, you don't have very good receivers, you know that the plays aren't going to progress very, very well, because you know the receivers are going to take time in order for them to get to the place that they're going to be. You got to learn that even though you don't have the weapons to make a big moment, that you've got the IQ to not put the team in danger. Throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. I know what Sheduer is capable of when he plays on point, because I've seen it for the last couple years. However, holding on to the ball, especially when you don't have protection, is a recipe for disaster every time you hop on the field, especially for an offense. So, Hopefully either the Browns will trade him so that he can go to a better situation. Because as I said, they're treating him very poorly. I don't know what their beef is with Sheduer. If you didn't want to have him, if you didn't want to draft him, why did you? And since you have him, why can't you treat him like every other teammate and every other player when it comes to opportunities and results of their play? I think that clearly the Browns, I mean, I'm not going to say that they have a hate voter for him, but I mean, it's very obvious that it's a pretty hateful rising coming from their crotch area, and I don't know what else to call it. So it's a shame. I really do hope that Sheduer finds some footing. I'm hoping that because we haven't seen Jack Diddley squad from Kenny Pickett, that Kenny Pickett goes to 4, Sheduer maybe rises to 3. I'm thinking Dylan Gabriel's probably going to be 2, and then Joe Flacco's obviously the starter. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame because I was really looking forward to seeing him play, but I was also looking forward to, because I knew when we got the second half, I figured that he was going to have less talent, but what I was hoping that he was going to do is show that he knows when to throw the ball away, know when to take what he's got, know when to do, not to make a bad situation worse. But, you know, again, he's young, he's a rookie, it's the preseason also. It's not like the game really truly matters, but it's just something that I hope he works on because, again, Sheduer, you're under a magnifying glass, bro. The league is looking for any little reason to find for you to not be in this league no more because they don't like your flashiness, they don't like your dad, they don't like your brother. They don't like the Sanders. Because if they did, they wouldn't be giving you guys as much of a problem. So now you just got to play. So that means you got to work twice as hard as the next guy, 4 times as hard as the next guy. Keep your head down. Do what it is you need to do. So long as you continue to prove when listen, the moment's going to come when your opportunity is going to come again. And when you do, you need to take it seriously because even if the Browns don't have faith in you, trust me, there's 31 other teams that are watching. And they're trying to see if the hype is true or if you're a bust. And if you can keep this hype going about you, and this is the thing, I don't want to just be hype. If you can keep the positivity and keep the results going, you will find a home someplace else. So keep your head up high. I hope that all goes well. I also prayers for your brother. He's not dead, guys. Shiloh is fine, but he's obviously no longer with the Buccaneers after he socked that dude in the face. I get it, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you don't like being touched, and I'm a person that, you know, you touch me too long, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably gonna swing on you. But that's why I don't play football. I watch it. But Shiloh, you're looking for a career in the NFL, so, and they're looking for a reason to cut you. So hopefully if he gets picked up someplace else, I think he will. I think he'll get picked up someplace else, and then again, he just needs to work 4 times as hard as the next guy. And keep his nose clean because, again, they're looking for any little reason to get rid of y'all. But that's all I got for this week. You know, again, no recap this week. I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts out there after watching this week and what it is that I'm seeing. But let me know what it is that you guys think. Leave a comment, like, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys next time. Looks like y'all like that One Piece video. We can run it back. Top 5 predictions for One Piece live action. Now, to be specific, I'm talking about seasons 2 and 3. Now, when I say prediction, I'm not necessarily saying that, I'm going to be talking about plot points, characters, and things of that nature. If you want to see that stuff, go read the manga. The manga is the source material. That's what you need to be reading if you want to know what's going to happen. But as you know, because it's live action, they're going to be switching some things up. They're going to be trying to adapt things a little bit differently to make it match the source material and a lot of the retcons that were put inside of it in order to try to correct a lot of Oda's past mistakes. But another thing that they're going to try and do is, I think, try and introduce other ideas early, kind of like the way that we saw one of I forget the name of the members, the different number folk, the Mr. 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the one that Zoro cut down in the beginning of the live action. You guys know who I'm talking about. I think we're gonna see a lot more things like that. So here are 5 things that I think that we're gonna see that is going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a little bit of some crossover from some of the things that I mentioned the last video, but there's going to be some new things also. But because at the end of the day, these are things that I genuinely believe that are going to be seen inside of seasons 2 and most definitely season 3, if not. 5. We'll either get a mention or maybe even some sort of glimpse. Probably not a glimpse. Most likely either a mention or some sort of homage or allusion to him. But that character is Sabo. I just think that Sabo as a character should be introduced a little bit earlier. At least the seeds of his character should be introduced a little bit earlier. And what better way to be able to introduce the character than having the reunion between Luffy and Ace and some sort of mention or remembrance of Sabo, because I mean they were basically the trio back in the day. Obviously we don't need to see him full blown, and obviously again we might even get some sort of mention of him when it comes to Dragon, but at the end of the day I think that we will in some way, shape or form get some sort of mention of Sabo. Number 4 is that Ace is going to be more knowledgeable or just flat out stronger than how he was portrayed originally when he was shown in the manga. You got to remember, Oda didn't have all of these things figured out and he didn't have it all mapped out completely when he originally had Ace inside of the manga. One Piece was originally supposed to be only 5 volumes long, and look how long we had now. So I think that we'll either get a hint at some of his haki, or maybe he's just going to have higher, more, I don't know, destructive feats. Or again, he's just going to make more allusions to things that he knows in terms of the new world, or just different, areas inside of the One Piece world and different islands or different systems that it is that he's seen, because he's had more of an adventure because he's gone out to sea longer than Luffy. But yeah, I think that for sure we're going to see Ace, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet. 3. Crocodile, I think, is definitely going to be seen in season 2. I don't think we're going to wait until season 3 to see Crocodile. I don't think he's just going to get like a little tease, you know what I mean? I think that we are going to see Crocodile inside of season 2. Now, the question is how early? Are we going to see him in the very, very beginning? Are we going to see him in the middle? Or is he just going to be the teaser like Smoker was at the very, very end? We'll just have to wait and see. But I think for sure we're going to be seeing some Crocodile action. And I think that it's going to be pretty cool to see that fight, because we already know that goes down. 2. Kobe and the Marines are definitely going to play a major role inside of this arc. I'm not sure how they're going to insert it, but the same way that they weren't that involved with season 1 compared to how they were in the manga, I'm almost positive that they're going to keep Kobe as this reoccurring character, because even in the main story, Kobe is essentially the Luffy of the Marines. He's the guy who's got the dream, who's going to change the world, and he can rally the people around him. So he is I guess the main character in terms of the Marines, but Luffy is obviously the main character of the story, but more specifically the pirates. So I can't see them just going the rest of the season. We just don't see Kobe at all. I'm almost positive we're going to see a lot more of Kobe, which means we're also going to see a bit more of El Mupo and Garp. I do wonder how they're going to progress Kobe as he continues to change, because once he gets into the time skip, not quite the time skip, but honestly once we get to Marineford, Kobe is a lot more built. He has a lot more assets and tricks in his bag than he did in the beginning of the story. So I wonder, are they going to be changing actors as he continues to go along, or is it going to be a situation to where they just kind of CG or use makeup to kind of fit the role as things go on? Either way, what happens, I'm excited to see more Kobe. And the number one thing that I think is going to happen inside of season 2 and creeping into season 3, haki will be introduced much earlier. Listen, I said it last time and I'll say it again. There needs to be more roots to haki other than it just being this ghost magic that appears randomly at the end of the first half of the story. I really do not just think that we will see it, but I also think that it's necessary that haki starts to show its head with the more advanced characters as we allude to the higher echelons of the One Piece world. So yeah, I think that we're gonna see some level of hockey, some sort of mention of hockey. There's plenty of reasons to bring that up just because of the different characters that we're gonna be seeing, without getting into too many spoilers. But yeah, the number one thing that I think that we're gonna be seeing is hockey being introduced inside of season 2 and 3. So those are all the things that I am predicting for season 2 and creeping into season 3, if not season 3. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts in terms of the things that I'm predicting, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, it's Tony with the Tdwrld. Thanks for checking out this video. Remember, don't run, don't hide, don't be shy. Just like, comment, please subscribe. See you next time.
For me dealing with the stress, for me dealing with the pain, getting trying to find a way.